name is Amanda Bolchafin. I work at the Lane Community Technology Center in Hamilton, Ohio, and today I'm going to walk you through the process of designing laser-cut wooden napkin holders for your Thanksgiving celebration. The first thing we're going to do is open up Inkscape. Inkscape is free software that lets you create and edit vector graphics. If you don't know what vector graphics are, don't worry about it. We'll go over it later on in the video. For now, just go to inkscape.org. Alright, and the website looks like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to download, that's right here, and current version. You're going to choose whichever version you have. So I'm running a Mac, so I would choose this. And then you're going to install the Inkscape software. Go ahead and open up Inkscape. The first thing we're going to do is open up our document properties. We can do that by going up here to File and Document Properties. And that's going to open up this window right here. You can change your units or not. I prefer to work in inches, so I'm going to change my display units to inches. And then I'm going to change my units down here to inches. And I'm going to change my width and my height to 12 by 12. And that's because I'm working with a 12 by 12 board. So you want to customize your workspace to whatever material you are working with. Next, in the Snap tab, so you're going to click here on the Snap tab. Just go ahead and pull all of these sliders down to the bottom and turn off snapping. Okay, good. So now make sure that you press Control S or Command S or File, Save. So now the important thing to do is remember what you name it and where you save it. So I'm going to change mine and put it right here on the desktop. And I am just going to save mine as Turkey. And the important part is to save it as an SVG file. That means scalable vector graphic. That's that part right there. And that scalable quality is key. Most images are raster graphic. They're pixelated. When you resize it, you start to see like that ragged edge where those pixels were. Well, the SVG format gives our laser a nice clean line to follow, and it lets us scale it. So we can resize it and we'll keep that clean line. So that's why we're working with SVG today. So once you know where it is, you know what it's called, you make sure it's an SVG file, just go ahead and hit save. All right, good job. Now, a word about materials. We have 12 by 12 plywood boards at the Tech Center. Patrons are welcome to use one or two of them for free or to test out their designs on some of our scrap material that we have hanging around. If you want to bring your own material, make sure you bring extra though so that you can test out your settings. You want to stick with organic materials like wood, leather, paper, cotton, or you can also use acrylic. For a full list of materials that can and cannot be cut and or etched on the Glowforge, check out the Glowforge website or call the Tech Center staff to ask for recommendations. Now if you want to paint your material beforehand, as I have done, make sure the material is completely dry before you place it in the Glowforge. Also, make sure to use acrylic paint. Many paints, stains, and sealers can release toxic chemicals when burned, and therefore they cannot be used in the Glowforge. The same is true for adhesives, so if you plan to cover your material with protective tape, make sure you know the ingredients. Okay, so let's pull up a couple of menus. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to close our document properties. We're done with that one. And now we're going to open up the Align menu. It kind of looks like a little bar graph, kind of like this, Align and Distribute there. So we're going to click that, okay? And then the next one that we're going to look for is Fill and Stroke. It's like this one. It looks like a little paintbrush. You're going to click that and open that one up as well, okay? So you want both of these, the Align and the Fill and Stroke, to be up. If for whatever reason you can't find them, there's this little arrow down here. If you click that, it has a lot of different menus in it sometimes that you can't actually find. So now we're going to make the circle that will become the hole inside our napkin holder. So what we're going to do is we're going to click our circle tool here on the left. It's right there. Now we're going to click and drag anywhere in our workspace. And we're going to change the size. Now aim for somewhere between about an inch and an inch and a half. So I'm going to change this to inches. I'm going to change this to 1.25. And I'm going to change this to 1.25. And that'll give us a nice even circle. So now you're going to hit your selection tool. That's this arrow here in the top left. And yours may or may not be filled, okay? So what you're going to do is on this Fill tab, so you're in the Fill and Stroke menu on the Fill tab, you're going to make sure you click this X. There's not going to be any paint then. So if yours is full, it's going to look like this. This is what it looks like when it's filled. So you want to make sure you click this X so it's not filled. Then on the Stroke tab, same thing. If you're going to make sure you click this flat color, so the full square there, to make sure you get a nice outline here, okay? And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our Stroke Style tab. We're going to change this inches here to point, and we're going to give it 1 point. So we're just going to change that to 1. So it'll give us a nice, clear, clean, crisp line for our laser to follow. Alright, good. I don't know about you, but I am not an artist. I could not draw a recognizable turkey outline if my life depended on it. That's why I'm going to open up my web browser and I'm going to go to trusty Google. Okay, so in Google, I'm going to type Creative Commons Turkey Silhouette Clip Art. Now let's take a minute to break down why I'm searching for that specific term. Creative Commons is a common licensing scheme that is used by artists who give various kinds of permission to others to reuse their work. Sometimes they require attribution, or they prevent users from changing the image, or they add other restrictions, so make sure you check the permissions for any image that you end up using. A silhouette will give us an outline, basically, which is what we need for this project. We don't need a detailed photo of a turkey, just a shape. And clip art is an old term that usually denotes simple, cartoony graphics with bold, clear lines. That will be easier for our laser to follow. So now that we've got our search term entered, go ahead and hit enter. And now we're going to click Images. Okay, good job. So now you want to find a very simple turkey shape. The simpler, the better. For a napkin ring, the basic shape is the most important consideration. Okay, so when you find one that you like, you're going to click on it, and then you're going to right click, and you're going to choose Save Image As. Now you're going to make sure you remember where you save it. I'm saving mine to the desktop, and you hit Save. Now, just a little note here about copyright and intellectual property. I've used this website before, Creatzilla, so if you go to that website, you're going to see that this is licensed under a Creative Commons license, and it's free for personal and commercial use. Attribution is required, so I've just told you where I got this. I got this from Creatzilla. I did not make this. It looks like the author is named Bob Comics. So just so you know, I have now made proper attribution. I've told you whose design it is, and I've made sure that I'm allowed to use it. So anytime you're using someone else's file, you want to make sure that you follow their instructions as to what you are and are not allowed to do. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to drop us a like or hit the subscribe button. You can also give us a shout out on Facebook. If you're interested in learning more about our services and programs, come and visit us at www.lanepl.org. Okay, good job. So now go back to Inkscape and we're going to import our turkey. So we're going to go to File and Import. We're going to choose our turkey image here. Choose From File and Smooth. And this is actually a nice clean PNG image. All we gotta do is hit our bucket tool, fill it in. So now when we click our selection tool and we pull off of it, we can delete our old one and we have this nice, very clear, super wonderful outline. But let's say that you chose an image that wasn't as clear. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what to do in that case. So let's say we do a file, import, and we pick up this turkey here. We choose smooth like we're supposed to, but it's not a very clear image as this checkerboard. What do? We go up here to path, we choose trace bitmap. We get this update here so we can kind of see what our outline's going to look like. We can adjust our brightness and then hit update again and you can see what that does. Alright, so I kind of like that. So I'm going to hit apply, and now what we do is we come over here and we pull this one off. We just delete our old one, and now we have a nice new one. What you can do now is you can go over here and close Trace Bitmap, and your Fill and Stroke menu, on Fill, you're going to turn off Fill. If that makes it disappear, don't worry, it's still there. Go to Stroke, turn on Stroke, hit that flat color button, and then just like before, we go to Stroke Style, we choose Point, and we make it 1 point. So we have a nice clear line to follow. Excellent. That's how you import the turkey file. Now the other thing we're going to do is we are going to make sure that we go to Path, Object to Path on both of these objects. Path, Object to Path. That's going to make a nice path so that our laser can follow it. And right about now is the time when we want to resize our turkey. So we're going to click on our turkey and we're going to decide how big we want it to be. I'm going to change this to inches here. And I probably want mine to be no more than 2 inches high. So let's preserve our aspect ratio here. Change that to 2. See what this looks like. What do we have here? Inches 2 here. Well, holding down Shift and Control to preserve my aspect ratio. I'm just kind of making this bigger. I think I'm going to go move this down to 1 inch actually. My napkin hole is just going to be 1 inch here. And then I'm going to make this about 2 inches high. You can see I'm just using the default controls. Okay, so maybe I'm going to make that about 3. Let's do 3 inches. And now I'm just going to center this up roughly where I want it. Just a real rough. Alright, so I think that's about the size I want. I'm going to take that away. And now our next step is to flatten the base so that it can sit on the table. Okay, good job. So now we want our turkey napkin holder to sit kind of flat, right? But this is a really uneven edge. So we're going to fix that. So to fix it, we're going to click on our turkey. And we're going to go to our fill and stroke menu, and we're going to go to fill, and we're going to choose flat color. And we're going to go to stroke, and we're going to turn off stroke. Now we're going to go over here, and we're going to choose our rectangle tool, and we're just going to make a rectangle. Now we're going to pull this rectangle up to right about here, so our turkey will have a nice flat base. We're just going to make it nice and smooth and flat. Now hold down Shift, and we're going to click so that both the rectangle and the turkey are selected. We're going to go up here to Path, and we're going to choose Difference. And there you go. Now our turkey has been cut off. We've cut off the legs. It's a nice smooth base. And we're going to convert it back to an outline. So to do that, we go back to fill. We turn off fill. We turn on stroke. Make sure our stroke style is where we want it. And we do the same thing for our circle. Excellent. So now we're going to drag the circle onto our turkey and we're going to align. Okay. So to do that, we're going to drag to select everything, and alternatively you can do Control or Command and A to select everything. And we're going to go to our Align and Distribute. We're going to align it to our biggest object here, and we're just going to hit this Center on Vertical Axis, and we're going to hit this Center on Horizontal Axis. So this is actually the center of the turkey. Because this is an irregular shape, I'm just going to use my arrow keys to nudge it to where I think it looks good. I think it looks pretty good right there. And I actually think I might want to make it a little smaller than an inch. So let's do 0.75. Again, align. You select both of these, you choose align, and then you can nudge it wherever you want from there, wherever it looks good for you. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. So our next step is going to be to add text. But before we do that, let's select all of this. Let's do Object Group and Path, Object Path. So now this is one object that we can move independently. And let's do a quick file save just to be on the safe side before we start adding text. Okay, good job. So now you have your shape for your napkin holder and it's time to add text. So to do that, you're going to go over here and you're going to click our text tool right here, and then you're going to click anywhere and you're just going to type the text you like. Okay, and now you're going to use this menu up here to choose your options. I'm going to center align. And then I'm going to choose my font here. Okay, and once you find a font that you like, you're going to go ahead and resize it. And now you're going to put it somewhere. There you go. Now, the font that I'm showing you in the video is actually different from the one I used in my final product, because I already made my final product. Spoiler. And I used a different computer and had different fonts available on that. So the end result's going to look a little different from this, just an FYI. Okay, so now that I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Path, Object to Path. I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to choose Object Group. Again, Path, Object to Path. And File, Save. Good job. Now you are ready to print. Okay, so for this project, I wanted to have a variety of fall colors. I chose some scrap craft wood that I had lying around, and I picked some autumnal colors from some acrylic paints. I used acrylic paint because, remember, acrylic is safe to use in the Glowforge. Next, I used a Sharpie to mark my spots. I measured out patches of roughly the size that I wanted, plus one small test patch. Setting aside a little bit of material for a test spot now will let you make sure that your Glowforge settings are correct later on and save you from wasting material if you've done something wrong. I also let the paint dry overnight. It's a good idea to have extra material ready in case you make any mistakes along the way, so when you're prepping material, prep extra for when you actually get to cut. Okay, great. So now here we are in the Glowforge app. It's app.glowforge.com. If you have your own Glowforge, you will have an account here. If you come to the Tech Center and use ours, we will log you into this account. So we're going to go ahead and sign in to our account. Once you sign in, it looks something like this. Obviously, yours will have your projects on it. This has ours. So we're going to go ahead and hit create, and we're going to upload from file, and we're going to get Turkey SVG, and we're going to upload it, okay? So this is what it's going to look like. And now it's time to choose our settings. Now I've already done this on different boards, but this is just for an example. Now this board actually has been painted. This has been painted gold. So I'm going to set this here, and I'm going to choose my material by clicking unknown up here. And I'm using medium basswood hardwood. And now I'm going to choose my engraved settings. I'm going to choose SD graphic. And I'm just going to choose a proof grade cut. And I'm going to do 2 passes because I happen to know that there's a little bit of warping on this board, and that'll help me cut through it. Another thing that you can do if you choose to, instead you can choose to use uncertified material. Because I know I have that warping, I'm going to lie to it. I'm going to tell it it's a little thicker than it is. So I'm going to say it is 0.25 inches and hit submit. But then that means you can't use proof grade settings here. So I have some settings that used to work pretty well. I named them Monster Engraved settings, but really it is a speed of 400, power of 20 for etching. And so I'm going to choose that. Lines per inch 225, just 1 pass. And then I'm going to choose my cut. I'm just going to go to this 1/8 cut here, but I'm going to choose, again, it's not 1/8 because I'm lying to the machine. But I'm going to choose about 160 for my my speed here, and I'm going to do full power. You know, let's not go that low. Let's do 170. I'm going to choose 170 for speed. Let's do full power. I'm going to do number of passes 2, and then manual 0.25 here. So I'm going to be doing 2 cuts, and I'm lying to the machine and telling it it's thicker than it is. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I know my material is warped. You don't have to do that. Alright, so there we go. We've chosen our settings. Now we're going to go up here. We're going to choose Set Focus. We're going to set the focus right here in the center of our cut. And if you don't happen to be in the same room as your device, I'm not right now, you can see what it's doing right up here. Okay, and once it says ready, you can go ahead and hit Print. And now it's magic time. You're ready to go and hit the button on the Glowforge. Now, once you finished cutting and etching, you can do some cleanup. I decided to spray mine with a clear coat. I then left them overnight to dry. It's best to do this outdoors or in a well-ventilated area, preferably over a drop cloth. A spare Amazon box will work in a pinch though. And there you have it. Now you're ready to use your custom napkin holders at your next event. If you're located near Hamilton, Ohio, and you'd like to learn more about how to design and etch a project on the Glowforge, give us a call at 513-785-2727. or email us at techcenter@lanepl.org. For hours and location information, check out our website at www.lanepl.org.